Hello again, Richmond scientists, and welcome to another edition of RPS Home, 5th grade science edition. My name is Mr. Jackson, and I'm a science teacher at Southampton Elementary School. We got a little bit to cover today, so let's go ahead and dive on in. As you're aware, this is week 3, day 2. What we're covering is plants, structures, functions, and reproduction. If you'll note, we now use the 5E model, which includes engage, explore, explain, extend, and evaluate. This is just something to help us teachers get things in sequence and help you do a better job of learning. So let's dive right on in. First, today we will be covering what we engaged and explored on day 1. What you saw, what you thought, and what you wondered. What was your journal response? Next, we'll do explain and extend, which is what we're covering today, and I will tell you or explain to you how to use all these things and what we're doing. We will be doing vocabulary, flocabulary, brain pop, and YouTube videos to help you get a better handle on the material. We will also be doing more journaling. We will then do a scavenger hunt, if at all possible. We will then use a gizmo, and then lead into day 3 of extend and evaluate, with quizzes and a vocabulary quiz. And next, something that we're a little excited about is you're going to get to draw, color, and label your own plant and share it on Flipgrid to show what you know. Hopefully, we'll be able to have some shout outs next week to the students that did a very good job with it. So let's go ahead and get started with our recap from Monday. When you saw this picture, what did you notice? I love to do this when I'm thinking because I had a student and she always did this when she was thinking. So this makes me think of that little girl and how good of a science student she was. So what would Stacy have seen here? I noticed these little yellow particles here. So this is the male part of reproduction of what's called pollen. We need bugs to be able to go in here and do their little bee dance and get that stuff on them so they can take it somewhere else and help other plants make new plants. Right here, when you saw this fall, it exploded. What does that make you think of? As a science teacher, I love to make connections to things that we already know, to things that we do know, and to things that we're going to know. So when this thing fell and hit the ground, I saw a type of energy. Can you remember the 2 types of energy? One is moving. The other is stored. Can you tell what this is right here? Is this stored energy or is this moving energy? Next, can you remember the 2 words that we use with moving and stored energy? Here is another example of moving energy. When those things squirted out, they went all over the place. Finally, we saw pictures of dogwoods, wildflowers, cherry blossoms, and roses. So when you do your see, think, and wonder, what do you see? What do you think? What do you wonder? Plants are an amazing thing, as I said the other day. They don't have a brain, but they can do so many, many things. They know when the seasons change. They communicate with each other through their roots. They can follow the sun as it goes from sunrise to sunset. They can detect UV light, if you remember the 7 parts of the electromagnetic light spectrum when your teacher taught light. They can put their baby inside a fruit. So if you've ever wondered why all that fruit has seeds in the middle of it, That's because the plant wants an animal to eat it and then take it somewhere else. So it sprouts up somewhere else and it isn't competition for its parents. And then the biggest one of all is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is what Mr. Pryor will be talking about next week, where a plant can perform an absolute miracle. A plant is the only thing that can take energy and turn it into matter. That is incredible. That is beyond belief. So, the next time you look at a plant, think of all the miraculous things that it can do. Now, moving on. What I would like for you to do is just take a look at what we will be doing. So, we start off with our student notebook. Please remember that you can go to all these links and it will take you right to it. So, here is the science journal that you've been working on for week 3. Hopefully, you looked at the pictures and wrote things down. What did you already know about plants? What parts do you see? Did you get to go find some plants and do a dissection? I hope so, because that's some great stuff there. Day 2 is where we are now. So, going back to explain and extend. After you watched your videos, could you label all these parts? Do you know what they are? Do you know what function they serve? So, if you didn't get a chance already, please just click on the links and go to the different things. Your first one is parts of a plant in Flocabulary. Your second one is pollination on YouTube. This covers a lot of things here. This is a very interesting video here. So it starts off with just their advertisement. So just click through the advertisement and it is a 4-minute video. The next is another brain pop on seedless plants. So hopefully you were kind of getting the idea of how plants work. There's 2 types of seeds, and a seed is a copy of a plant, and it has everything it needs in it to make another plant. So what we have is 2 types. If you remember me talking about classification Monday, classification is a way of making groups of how things are different and alike. So what we have is 2 different types of seeds. We have a seed-bearing plant, and then we have a spore-bearing plant. Please check out the videos so you can see the difference. After that, you can also realize that classification is involved with kingdoms, and 2 of the main kingdoms are the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. Believe it or not, we're in the animal kingdom. Going back to this, we also have a video on vocabulary for pollination, a great video to watch. We then have a brain pop pollination. That Moby, I can never get enough of him. And finally, what we'd like for you to do is go and click on the scavenger hunt link. This takes you to a scavenger hunt where you get to explore pollinators all around you. Hopefully you have a parent or a guardian or someone that can take you out and do a little bit of a search for different kinds of pollinators. Now, to close out, we'll have a gizmo on Explore Learning. This is flower pollination. So, If you're not familiar with gizmos, you simply click on it and launch the gizmo. Let me log back into mine. Please remember that you will log on to Clever to access all of these things. The only thing you can't access, the only thing that you can't access is BrainPop. And in our directions, we have the passwords for you to be able to do that right there. So, back to the gizmo. These are great things because you can simply move things over, answer questions, and do all different sorts of activities. I love this for my class because I can see what my kids are doing. So I can go to this class and see who's doing this, see who's doing the assessments at the bottom. And in Mr. Jackson's school, I teach science for everyone. So I have 3 different classes where I can go in and see what they're doing and how well they did on their assessments. Also, there is an activity where you can go and do an extension on there. So household energy usage can go on here. So what we like for you to do is use it. Look at all the different things that you can do with this thing. This is cool button here. This helps you maximize it right here, make the screen bigger. So you can manipulate a lot of things on here and then just go on down and answer questions at the bottom. Now, leading on to day 3. Day 3 is going to have a quizzes activity. So after you do all of our work for us from Monday and Wednesday, you're going to go on over to quizzes and hit play. And it will take you through all different sorts of things that you can do on here. The next thing that we have is a quiz from vocabulary. So here is what pops up after you watch the video. More great work for you to be able to do at home. Now, what I have found interesting is we have included Flipgrid into this week's activity. So what I'd like for you to be able to do is create your own artistic drawing of a plant. Make sure you have all the parts and label them. After you complete the drawing, add colors and details. And then you simply click on Flipgrid and it will take you here. So then you can post your different ones. I'm excited to already think of what I will get to see after you complete yours. Hopefully, all of this is helping you out to be a good scientist. Please stay tuned and check in on Mr. Pryor next week. He will still be covering plants, but he gets to cover photosynthesis, which, like I said before, is an absolute miracle.